Hi, this is Mr. Hoffman, and we are today going to discuss musical careers. Now, today we're going to be talking about two different musical careers, and then next week we'll talk about two more. Instructions. First, watch this video all the way through. In the video, I'll be discussing two important careers in the field of music. Number one, a studio or private music teacher, and number two, a music therapist. Number two, watch and listen to the information about each career. Topics to be discussed may include, a career description, personal and professional qualifications, knowledge or skills required, salary and pay, and any college training that might be required. 3. Answer the questions as they appear. For example, here is a question right now. Keep watching. Number 4, keep watching for a review of the correct answers. That way, if you need to redo this assignment, you can be more successful the second time. Let's dive in. Studio or private music teacher. A studio or private music teacher gives lessons on how to sing or play an instrument to individuals or small groups, or both. Private music teachers might specialize in one or multiple instruments. The studio, or where they teach, of a private teacher may be located in a home, music school, office building, or music store. Private music teachers usually, but not always, work outside of a regular school. For example, I am just a regular music teacher, and I teach in a school. My job is to teach students as part of their legally required education. And a private music teacher will teach people outside of that setting. So if you want to learn an instrument like the violin or the trumpet, you might study with a private music teacher. Depending on where they teach, some private music teachers might only teach part-time. Sometimes private music teachers have multiple jobs, and that really depends on how often they teach and how much they're able to charge for each lesson, which will vary from teacher to teacher. Many private music teachers are actually self-employed, which means that they are their own boss. They work for themselves. Self-employed people, they have to obtain their own health insurance, and they have to file their taxes in a different way. There are some other key differences between someone who is self-employed and someone who is not, but we don't really have time to go into that. For now, just know that a private music teacher who is self-employed, they'll often operate a studio out of a home or an office, or they might visit their students' homes to teach, instead of working in a music school or a music store that's owned by somebody else. Qualifications, knowledge, and skills. Qualifications. A private music teacher is a talented musician. Private music teachers must continually study their instrument or voice in order to improve and maintain their skills. It is really necessary to have experience with music performance, and in that regard, having a college degree in performance or education, music education, is very, very helpful. A private music teacher must work well with people. They must be patient, encouraging, and kind. A private music teacher wants to help people learn. A private music teacher can manage their own studio, including the schedule and all operations of the studio, any finances, and because they're usually the one, especially if they're self-employed, because they own the business. If they're self-employed, they're usually dealing with all customer service. So that's an important skill for them to have, an important qualification. Knowledge and skills. A private music teacher must have a large knowledge of different kinds of music. This includes music from different countries and cultures, as well as music of many different styles, including musical theater, jazz, classical music, rock music, and other kinds of music styles. A private music teacher must have extensive skill on their chosen instrument or instruments. If you want to be able to teach it, you should be able to play it or sing. A private music teacher must be able to clearly explain how to play their chosen instrument or instruments. If you can't explain it clearly, it'll be hard for the student to learn. So that's a really important skill. A private music teacher must be able to read music. This is not universal, but being able to read music opens up a lot of different possibilities for explaining how to play your instrument or showing others how to play your instrument. Being able to read music is an important skill for any professional musician. A private music teacher must be able to play piano. This is even less universal than needing to be able to read music, but needing to be able to play piano is really, really, really important for all music teachers, not just private ones, but also myself as well, teachers who teach in schools, because it's a window to show your students a lot of different musical concepts. And it's also an accompaniment tool. So I could use it to support the playing or singing of one of my private students. So being able to play piano is an absolute must for a private music teacher. Sometimes you can get away with it, but usually it's best if the teacher plays piano. Salary and pay. A private music teacher's exact pay can vary widely. Factors that will make it vary include the location and status or type of employment, their education, and their experience. For location and type of employment, this affects all private music teachers. Self-employed teachers, they'll set their own rates. Most of them will charge per lesson, which usually winds up being per hour or sometimes per half hour. So they might charge $50 for a 60-minute lesson or $40 for a 30-minute lesson. Teachers in music stores or music schools, that is to say, not self-employed, they can charge per lesson, or they might actually receive an hourly wage or a salary from their employer, depending on the specific policy of that employer, the store or the music school. Some teachers or studios, this is for all private music teachers, not just self-employed or not self-employed. Some teachers or studios may choose to offer several lessons together as a package for a slight discount. So instead of 10 lessons at $50 each being, or 10 lessons times $50 equals $500, they might only charge $45 per lesson in that case, so it might only be $450. If a private music teacher wants to be able to charge a higher rate per lesson, there are two things that can allow them to do that. The first is their education. A private music teacher with a college degree can charge a much higher rate per hour or per lesson. The second thing that they can do is to have more experience. Private music teachers who have had successful performing or producing careers, or whose students have gone on to have successful careers, they might be able to charge more due to their proven success. Questions. At this point, you should have answered all of the questions, and Edpuzzle makes it so that that's definitely true. And here are the 4 questions and the answers to them. Number 1, fill in the blank. A private music teacher may work out of a home, office, music school, or blank. And that blank is 2 words. The answer to this question is music store. And you can find that on the job description slide. The studio of a private teacher may be located in a home, music school, office building, or music store. Number 2, list. List the 4 main qualifications for a private music teacher. And as a hint, you can look at the bolded text on the qualifications slide. The answers are: a private music teacher is a talented musician. A private music teacher works well with people. A private music teacher wants to help people learn. And a private music teacher can manage their own studio. Number 3, true or false? Private music teachers should know how to play the piano in addition to their chosen instrument or instruments. The answer to this question is true. Private music teachers should know how to play the piano in addition to their chosen instrument or instruments. This is because the piano is a great tool for demonstrating music concepts and also can be used as an accompaniment instrument. Number 4, multiple choice. Which of the options given is not a reason that a private music teacher can charge a higher rate? The answer to this question is that they have a nicer piano. Of course, having a nicer piano is great, but it's not a reason that a private music teacher should be able to charge a higher rate. It's really based on where they teach and whether or not they're self-employed, their education, and their experience. Thanks for answering these questions. Let's move on to the next video, or the next career. Music therapist. The American Music Therapy Association defines music therapy as, quote, the clinical and evidence-based use of music interventions to accomplish individualized goals within a therapeutic relationship by a credentialed professional who has completed an approved music therapy program, end quote. Now that's a lot, so let's break it down. What does that mean? What does a music therapist do? Well, music therapists design and facilitate music interventions or musical experiences that are given to clients as a form of mental and physical health care. Music therapists can help clients to restore and maintain mental and emotional health, increase their comprehension and understanding skills, improve physical abilities, and improve social skills such as cooperation and communication. How does music therapy work? Well, music therapists create musical interventions that are made for a specific patient's special needs or specific needs. Music therapy may take place in an individual session, or it may involve groups of multiple clients. By creating a project through teamwork, clients can actually practice working with others and feeling like part of a group. Music therapy can incorporate instrumental or vocal activities into a patient's or client's daily life that gives them feelings of accomplishment and belonging. Excuse me. Music therapy can also help to relax patients and increase their awareness of feelings and emotions. But that's not always why it's done. What is the goal of a music therapist? The goal of a music therapist is to first assess or figure out a client's specific needs and goals for treatment. Number 2, develop a treatment plan. It's very important that a plan is developed that takes into account those specific needs and goals. Number 3, the music therapist facilitates sessions to help clients address their needs and achieve their goals. Number 4, the music therapist's goal is to document the client's progress so that they know and so that others involved in that client's care know how they're doing. Qualifications, knowledge, and skills. A music therapist must be trained and skilled in both singing and playing instruments. This usually means piano and guitar plus any primary instruments. In this way, they must be a skilled musician. A music therapist must be able to work with people who have a physical, mental, and/or emotional disability, or sometimes multiple disabilities. A music therapist must be calm, patient, understanding, and creative in order to care for each patient and help them address their needs. A music therapist must be able to find, change, and or create interventions or musical experiences to address a client's specific needs. And finally, a music therapist must be engaged in continuous professional learning. And this is because mental health research, disability research, and music therapy research are always developing, and you don't want your clinical work to be outdated. You don't want what you're doing to be not the best thing to do. So it's really important that music therapists are always engaged in continuous professional learning. Knowledge. A music therapist must have a strong knowledge and understanding of psychology, or the study of the mind, biomechanics, or the study of how energy and motion work together regarding the body, anatomy, which is the study of all body parts as well as their names, positions, and functions, music theory, the study of how music works, and any laws and regulations relating to healthcare, therapy, and patient privacy. Education and certification. Education. Music therapists must have at least a bachelor's degree in music therapy. This is really not negotiable. Sometimes music therapists start out in college and they get their degree in something else. Usually, if they want to do music therapy, they have to go back to school for another bachelor's degree in music therapy. After that music therapy degree, after they finish that, or sometimes as part of their degree, they complete 1,200 hours or 1,200 hours of clinical experience, including a 900-hour internship. Graduate study in music therapy is encouraged, but it's not necessarily required. Education requirements are developed and maintained by the American Music Therapy Association, or AMTA. Certification and credentials. All music therapists must pass a national certification exam in order to earn the title of Music Therapist Board Certified, or MTBC. Certification requirements are developed and maintained by the Certification Board for Music Therapists, or CBMT. Lots of acronyms here. Salary and work opportunities. In 2014, music therapists reported earning salaries between $20,000 and $200,000, with a median salary of $46,000 per year, according to the AMTA. Music therapists work in many different settings, including hospitals and mental health centers, schools, outpatient care facilities, substance abuse programs, nursing homes, rehabilitation centers, and other long-term care settings, jails and prisons, agencies serving individuals with disabilities, and private practice, in addition to many other different kinds of settings in which people benefit from making music. Now, this is my opinion, but I wanted to share this with you. Because music therapy is still a rapidly developing field, I think that salary and work opportunities in music therapy could change significantly in the future. It could change by having many more opportunities, and I think also that these opportunities will be better paid. But I can't find any research to support this opinion necessarily, so I do have to say that this is my opinion and this isn't necessarily fact. Questions. True or false? A successful music therapist loses their patient quickly. The answer to this is false. A successful music therapist must be calm, patient, understanding, and creative. Number 2, fill in the blank. Music therapists must have strong knowledge and understanding of blank, biomechanics, blank, music theory, and laws and regulations relating to healthcare, therapy, and patient privacy. The two words that fit into this blank are, the first is psychology, and the second blank, which is the third word, is anatomy. 3, multiple choice. What is the lowest level of education a music therapist must have? The correct answer is a bachelor's degree in music therapy. 4, true or false. After completing an approved education program, a music therapist must complete a clinical internship and pass a certification exam. The answer to this question is true. Critical thinking. This should be a 3 to 4 sentence response. Should a music therapist use the same few interventions with all of their patients? Why or why not? Make sure to use the following words or phrases in your response: interventions, client needs, goals, treatment plan, and optional, you can use the words individuals and groups. Your answer to this question should be essentially no. A music therapist should not use the same few interventions with all of their patients. The reason for this is that every patient has unique needs. And because of this, the music therapist's job is to determine or figure out what those needs are and develop a unique treatment plan to help the patient or client meet all of those needs. So those are all of the questions. Those are all of the answers. And thank you so much for sticking with this whole video. I'm really looking forward to seeing what you do. And if you have any questions, of course, you can always send me an email, add a private comment, or reach out in some other way. Thanks, and have a great rest of your week. Bye. I also have to say a huge thank you to Miss Madison Frank, MTBC, who is a music therapist and a friend of mine. And we have to say thank you to her for providing feedback on the music therapy related portions of this presentation. So please send her a thank you in your thoughts. And again, have a great rest of your week. Bye.